Hey guys, it's me, Blue Doggo, and this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while now. This is me ranking every single season of Ninjago from worst to best. I mean every season. So, the rules for this are simple. Every season and special is allowed. We're going to be including specials by themselves. So, this is everything from the pilots to the most current season as of recording this, season 3, which is 21 entries. A lot of entries. There's gonna be no tide spots. The movie is not gonna be included because I don't like it that much. And finally, as of recording this, I actually have seen every episode of the first part of season 4 of Dragon's Rising. It's pretty good, but it's not gonna be on here because the full season's not out. So I can't judge it yet. So let's begin with my most controversial choice. In last place, 21st place, we got Sons of Garmadon. Oh, you never would have thought I'd put this one that low. I know this is like almost everyone's favorite season of the entire show. I just do not like it. I feel like the season's way too serious. Like, it has a lot of a darker tone in this season. I just don't like that. Like, there are multiple points where it seems like characters are just gonna die. Granted, the next season characters do die, but in this one, it's like, oh, Lloyd like almost dies because his father beats the crap out of him. Zane almost gets decommissioned again. So much stuff just happens. I do like how this season has a follow up to season 1 where it shows that the consequences of the overlord of the whatchamacallit, the Great Devourer actually have consequences. But like that was a decent part, and then Cole's little arc with the baby was cute. I also love how this was the season that changed the ninjas' looks, and I like their new looks, so I liked that. Other than that, like the worst part about this is, like I said, it's a much serious tone, and I did not sign up for that when I watched Ninjago. And then finally, Harumi. I do not like Harumi as a villain. I do like I said, I do like her backstory being connected all the way to the first season. I personally don't like her as a villain. So that's why this season, in my opinion, is the worst. Coming up in 20th place, we have another controversial pick. Season 4, The Tournament of Elements. Yeah, another season that people highly claim that I do not like. I'm sorry, I never liked the tournament. I never liked this season's tournament arc. It lasts like 6 episodes, and then actually it lasts like 5 because the first episode doesn't have anything really to do with the tournament. They end it with, oh, Chen wins, and then they never go back to the tournament stuff. At least with Dragon's Rising season 2, they go and do tournament stuff for like almost the entire season, or the entire second half of the season. This, I just never liked how they did it with this. I'd say like the theme song is pretty decent. That's like the only good mark I can give it. I just didn't like the tournament stuff. This season just felt boring, especially because like the tournament was like half a season, and like the other half was like, oh, we're gonna do snakes again for the second time. Just wait till we do snakes for a third time in Hands of Time. Now that's crazy. But yeah, season 4 is 20th. In 19th place, we have the pilot, Way of the Ninja. Now, this is a decent pilot to start off the show. It's the pilot. It starts off things. The start of a show is never usually the best, and this just shows here. We don't get a lot of character from Jay, Cole, or Zane in this. Their characters don't really make much of a difference to this show. It's all about Kai in this short. I think it's like 44 minutes. It's 4 11-minute parts. So yeah, I don't like it for that part. And then obviously, hey, I got notification. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I thought I turned off my notifications on my phone. But yeah, this season it's like I said, it's also really short, which I get. It's supposed to be a pilot to the series. I wish J. Cole and Zane had more focus. I do love Cole's out of context line where he like transforms when like the ninja transform into their color G, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm still black." That line is so funny to me. Just it's so when you take it out of context, it's just so funny. But yeah, the pilots just rank a little bit better than the worst 2 seasons of the original show, but that's really it. 18th place, we have Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu. This season is very heavily weighed down by its first half. A lot of it was terrible, especially like those few filler episodes with The News Never Sleeps and Snake Catastrophe. Those episodes just sucked. As well as like the second half has my least favorite episode of the entire show called The Absolute Worst. Pretty funny name title, where it's literally just like Fuji Dove, the mechanic, and what's her name? Ultraviolet talking about who's the worst ninja in this like anime style episode, and it sucks. And then in the second half, they also bring back the preeminent for 11 minutes for what reason? Filler? The first half with Asphira kind of did not care about it that much. The second half is where it makes it better than season 4 and 8. Because I did like the stuff with the Neverrealm. I did like Zane being the bad guy. If we didn't have like his voice actor revealed through like outside sources, I feel like it would have been cool to figure out who the Ice Emperor was. But I mean, it does make sense if you think about it. That is clearly Zane. And it also brings a lot of lore implications of how old is Zane now? I think it's like he's 100 years old now because he lived like 6 decades in the Neverrealm. It's insane. It's crazy. But other than that, the season very much just kind of sucks. And 17th, we have The Hands of Time. I like the little collectibles that you got for this season, like the actual Hands of Time. They were cool collectibles. Other than that, there's a lot of flaws with this season. If you watch it, which I watched all of these over again just to do this video, if you watch it, there are so many flaws with this season, and I understand it probably had to be rushed due to the movie coming out later that year, but it's just such a flawed season. I feel like the only good part is Kai and Nia's story trying to find their parents and what happened to them. The rest of it just kind of sucks. Like, there's like an episode literally just called The Attack. The most boring name for an episode ever. They could have called it literally like Snake Attack or something. And it would have been, oh, like the word sneak attack, but with snakes because they're fighting the snakes. And that would have been much better or something other than just The Attack. What a boring name for an episode. And then there's literally, I think in the 5th episode of this season, there's like an animation error that's like so big. It's like the ninja are in like a slow motion time bubble, except for Jay and his father, and they drive through the slow motion time bubble on a motorcycle. And Jay looks out at the ninja, and then in the group of ninja, Jay is just sitting there. There's 2 Jays. This season was very broken, in my opinion. And I will say, it does heavily get... It's just not good. I do like it just a little bit better than the previous seasons because, you know, I like the I like the Samurai X stuff. I do like time travel stories, so that's cool. And like I said, I like finally getting to see Kai and Nia's parents, but other than that, this mostly just kind of sucks. Coming in at 16th place, we have Season 1, Rise of the Snakes, the season that started it all. Once again, this season suffers a lot from just being the first real season of the show. It's got to set up a lot of stuff. And so most of the season's just setting up the characters and the world for the future of the show, and it's just okay at best. I think the cool idea with the ninja unlocking true potentials was awesome, and I do love the snakes. They're like still to this day some of the cooler Ninjago figures. Like Pythor is awesome looking. Other than that, the true potentials were fine. That was just really as much as this goes. I do like how the end of this season does have consequences for season 8. That's really it. It was the first season. It has to do a lot of setting up for the world, even though the show was only going to be 2 seasons. But yeah, it's okay. Also, Lloyd is grown up on the poster. He's not grown up in the season. He's not at all. I mean, I guess they had to make him grown up so it wouldn't be an active spoiler that Lloyd is the Green Ninja. Even though they have a green 5 on his jersey that he wears throughout season 1. It's crazy. Anyway, 15th place we have, you never would guess it, season 2, Legacy of the Green Ninja. The first half of this season does weigh it down a little bit with the filler episodes like Double Trouble, the Ninja Ball Run, the Pirates versus Ninja. Like those episodes kind of weigh this season down. And Darkness Shall Rise, I think, is what the first episode is, where the ninja just get jobs and they just like threw the full song Ninjago into the episode just randomly for a montage. But I'd say once it gets to Child's Play, like I like Child's Play. Wrong Place, Wrong Time is my favorite episode of the season. And then the second half does pick up a lot with the Dark Island stuff, getting to Zane's father. And the final battle is pretty decent for back in its time. Obviously, we've had much better final battles nowadays, but for this to be the ending of the show, I would have accepted it if it was. Of course, the show got renewed into oblivion, so take that what you will, but for the original ending of the show, like, I agree, this was an original good ending. And I also think the elemental swords that they got near the end were kind of cool too, like the elemental blades. I remember wanting to collect those back when they first came out. Those were cool. Other than that, I kind of wish you would have gotten a minifigure for Garmadon Overlord. That would have been a really neat looking minifigure, but that's all I can say about this season. Coming up in 14th, you never would believe it, but it's season 3 rebooted, baby. This was the return of the show, and I feel like this season could be better for 2 reasons. If it were longer, and if it didn't come out how it did. So, season 2 was originally meant to be the end of the show, so it got canceled. And then fan demand brought it back over Chima. And so in 2014, they aired this entire season over the entire year. Like, it was 2 episodes every, like, 3 months. It was a long wait for this season to come out. And I feel like that heavily weighs it down, as well as the fact that it is the shortest season of the show, not including the island, which is technically not even a season, I'd say, or the March of the Oni special, which is weird because they count March of the Oni as a season, but not the island. We'll talk about that when we get there. But the Overlord coming back was kind of decent. I like the Ninjroids themselves. Zane's sacrifice episode, the Titanium Ninja, is still one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. And the Technoblades are pretty decent. Other than that, it's okay. I just wish it could have been longer. I wish it could have aired quicker. At least not make us wait a whole year to see how it ends and then be traumatized forever by Zane exploding. That was a little bit dark. Anyways, 13th place, lucky number 13, we have season 14, The Island. Remember how I mentioned that this was a season in my eyes? It is not technically seen as a season, mostly because it's 44 minutes. But I count it as a season. I guess if you technically count it, it's like part of season 3. And then Seabound is like the rest of it. But I'd say this is a season, in my opinion. It was short, so that does weigh it down a lot. But I did, honestly, the island suits are some of my favorite suits that Ninja have ever gotten. And this was also the first season that aired in which Kirby Morrow passed away before this aired. So this season and Seabound had a in loving memory of Kirby Morrow to it. And it's like, I kind of wanted to mention that there just because it was such a sad time to hear that he passed away. So yeah, this was like the first season to air after his death. So like a lot of the anticipation of fans was like, how much are we going to see of Cole before his episodes are out? Or like his episodes are done, and they had to switch over to Andrew Francis for Cole. I'd say Cole got a decent amount of screen time here, but yeah. The Keeper's really cool. I do like their minifigures. Ronan being the main villain kind of is bland. But I will say, I love that Cole minifigure. It's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool minifigure. Other than that, it's another Lloyd special-ish sort of thing. So it can't really be that good because Lloyd gets too much for the show. In 12th, we have Day of the Departed, the Halloween special. As much as it is like about the halfway mark of the list, I do like this special. When I first watched it, I thought it was pretty decent. Focusing on my favorite ninja, Cole, is one good step to it, and two, like bringing back past Ninjago villains that have died. Samukai, Kozu, Chen, Pythor, Cryptor, and even Moro was a very decent idea. Other than that, I mean, it is short. It's another 44-minute special, but I do like it. Cole getting like the main focus was cool, and then getting to see like all the original villains come back and fight the different ninja was exciting. Heck, even Dareth shows up with like an important role. He fights Kozu, which is strange. Because the only reason he fights him is because, oh, well, he was the one to take the Helmet of Shadows and control the Stone Army, so yeah. And then Moro, like, sort of officially turning to the good side in this special was a neat idea, as we get to see him in Dragon's Rise in Season 3 as, like, a pretty good, decent guy. So, yeah, pretty good special. Also, it was the end of Cole's ghost form, which is very much sort of a pointless character arc for him, since it literally didn't go anywhere when it was only around for 2 seasons, but yeah, that's fine. What's like 16 episodes of content anyway? In 11th, we have Skybound, the J-focused season of the original series. I liked a lot of it. The Sky Pirates stuff was pretty decent. Like, all of the Sky Pirate stuff. Jay, like, being the main focus character, and him just, like, getting tortured throughout the most of the season and him still staying strong no matter like what he faced, like basically having his friends hate him because he lied about making wishes and getting like tormented on the island with the giant tiger widow spider, then like getting tortured by Nauticon for like a whole episode. Like Jay literally survived so much and he still was a comic relief throughout all of it. That's my Jay. I don't like, I will say what weighs this one down is I don't like how the season ends with it not existing past like the first half of the first episode. Like they literally erase the events and only Jay and Nia remember it, and it's brought up later in the show about the two of them remembering it, but that's really it. It's kind of stupid how they just got rid of this season mostly. Which, thinking back to it, it makes sense how Nauticon didn't return for the Day of the Departed special because he technically wasn't a Ninjago villain. And it also did the ninja being wanted arc right, with them being on the run and them still saving the day and them getting praise because they realize they're not actually the bad guys. But yeah, Skybound's pretty neat. Heading into the top 10, in 10th place, we have Prime Empire. Originally, this is like probably my second favorite season of the second series, but it's obviously changed since then. I love the video game aesthetic and the cool like avatar skins for the ninja. The digi suits are okay. I don't like how in their official minifigures they have like that big bulky back piece that has like the little health bar sticking out of it, but in the show they look pretty cool. And while this season did have like one or two episodes that didn't feature the ninja like at all, they were still pretty decent. Like Ayamo Kino was great, and then like the two-part Zane episode, the black and white noir episode, and then the one after that, I can't remember what its name was, were pretty decent. Better than season 11's filler, because at least those kind of pushed along the story a little bit. Other than that, it's an okay season. It's pretty good. I like it. There's just 9 seasons better than it, in my opinion. Anyways, 9th place, we have finally entering the new era of Ninjago with Dragon's Rising Season 1. As the start to Dragon's Rising, Season 1 Part 1 was very to me. Season 1 Part 2 is where it does very much pick it up in terms of the show. I love Ryu, I love Sora, I love Eren, and I love Wildfire. I love like all the new ninja that show up in this season. Beatrix is an annoying villain. Roz is something special that I can't wait to see what he'll turn into. And yeah, basically the whole concept of the merge is a crazy thing, which is exciting to explore with the show like still going on now. The only thing I could say that weighs down this season a little bit is that those merge suits for the ninja, ugh, that helmet is ugly. Like, look at Lloyd's helmet. That is ugly. They got better in season 2 with the climber gear. Like, it still had the same helmet, but like it looks better with the climbing gear. But yeah, man, that sucked. Sora's story about trying to live up to her parents only to realize that her parents just suck and she doesn't need them at all was a really good story. And then Eren wanting to live up to be a ninja despite being the only ninja without a power. I liked his part of the story too. And it was just a great start to this new era of Ninjago. But just 8 seasons better than it. Season 8, or part, episode, whatever, it's the 8th place, is another controversial pick. Crystallize, the original ending of the original series. People do not like this ending, and I understand why. It does a lot of things weird, bringing Nia back literally 6 episodes into the season after her heroic sacrifice in Seabound is a bit of a stab to the heart. And then I think the whole part between the ninja getting defeated and basically gathering resources in the second half was kind of a slow burn. I don't understand what that episode was, Attack of the Ice Emperor, where Zane is just like the Ice Emperor again for an episode. It's kind of stupid. But I will say, as the ending to Ninjago's story, for like at least the first era of it, is pretty good. I like all the characters coming together. The Council of the Crystal King could have been better. I mean, they had Pythor. They could have had other characters. I mean, I get they had to work around with what they had in continuity. Kozu, Cryptor, Chen, Moro. Kozu, Cryptor, Chen are dead. Nauticon technically never existed. Moro's not really a villain anymore. No one knows where Crux and Acronix is. Garmadon is a good guy now. The Hunters are like literally good guys and also in another realm. The Oni, I don't know what happened to them. I think they got blown up. So I get like they couldn't work with a lot of the first show's characters. They did have Harumi and Mr. E and Pythor, and that was really it for the first show's characters. Didn't need a Sphera. Her whole character is just wanting revenge. Or the mechanic, his whole character is existing. But yeah, the Overlord being the main villain is an interesting concept. And I just know that he's going to be Roz's master in season 4. They can't stop bringing this guy back. This guy is like William Afton from the FNAF series. He always comes back. But this was the first season also to introduce Andrew Francis as Cole. And while it was a very difficult point to get used to, I've gotten used to his voice now. Going back and watching the original season, it is different from Curry Morrow's voice. But I've gotten used to it now. Other than that, it's okay. It's not terrible. I don't think it deserves to be like the worst season of the show. But I can see why some people hate it. But I think it's pretty okay. 7th place goes to Much of the Oni. The end of the Oni trilogy. And the end of the original series. I watched this one back when I was obviously doing my rewatch. And before rewatching it, I never cared too much for it. After rewatching it, it's pretty decently good. I honestly do like this special about how, like, oh, the Oni have attacked Ninjago and now the ninjas are having to fight them without any clue how to fight this enemy. Garmadon being a good guy again, even though he is one of the Oni, and his, like, sort of change in this special. Jay finally officially getting together with Nia here was adorable. Cole's story was weird. Kai taking up the mantle of his father and recreating the golden weapons, that was a crazy part of the season. And then bringing back the Tornado of Creation one more time as the final ending of the show was pretty neat. And then also, like, getting to see, like, the mural of all the past season's adventures, which season 6 makes no sense to be there. It doesn't exist. in Ninjago lore, except for to Jay and Nia. But yeah, this was a pretty good season. Despite being short, it was a pretty good, like, 88 minutes. Somewhere out there's a whole uncut movie of just like the whole 88 minutes as a movie, not split into 4 episodes. I want to see that because I feel like it would work better as an Ninjago movie compared to the like an Ninjago movie. But yeah, this was a good ending to the original series. Coming in at 6th place, we have Seabound, one of my original season favorites. Honestly, this is one of my favorites of the 11-minute era. I was excited whenever the season came out. It was really Nia's first solo focus season. Kelmar is a pretty cool designed villain. I like the scuba suits. I do actually like the scuba suits, despite the fact that they are a little weird. I do like the scuba suits. I didn't like them at first, but they're pretty cool. And then this whole season focusing on Nia with her discovering a lot about her power and also her finally bonding with her mother was great. It was a weird... It's like, it is a really weird season because a lot of times it's combined with the island, which makes sense because it kind of just is a follow-up from the island. But we finally get payback to... We finally get called back to the villain that's been hiding amongst the season since, like, the start of the 11-minute era. Wojira, like, that villain's been mentioned so many times throughout each season, and we finally get to see her, and she floods the city. She's a terrifying villain. Jay almost dies. Nia's sacrifice honestly made me cry when I first saw it, and it's still one of my favorite episodes, The Turn of the Tide and Niad. It was a decent ending. I just don't like how quickly they fixed Nia's sacrifice. I kind of wish they would have taken more time on it and crystallized, but that's the only thing that hurts it. Other than that, I liked the sets. I think the Hydro Bounty's pretty cool, and I still have some of the sets built somewhere in my room. Wojira is not part of the actual set it came with, but Wojira is there, and it's a cool dragon snake thing. But that's all that we have for this. Also, bringing back the island stuff was cool. 5th place, Possession. I honestly adore this season. All the ghost stuff was pretty cool. Kai's story with being acting sort of like this father figure to Lloyd was a pretty weird turn, but honestly appreciated. Like, him being the most upset that Lloyd got possessed and trying to save him as best as he could, only getting stopped by the others because Moro was too powerful. It was pretty decent. I like Air Jitsu as a concept. They never bring it back. They bring it back until like season 8, and then it just doesn't exist anymore, and I don't know why. Until season 12, it becomes a power-up in Prime Empire. The ghost, like, the green and black for the ghost figures are really cool. I like the Moro possessed Lloyd. Moro's a decent villain. Turned good guy because he's in the whole Dragon's Rising Season 3, which we will probably be seeing soon. But yeah, I like the ghost stuff. It's pretty cool. Also, Ronan is here, and he's in the video game that is not canon to the show, but he is here. And he becomes a decent character who, like, sometimes is a good guy, sometimes just sucks, and shows up in season 14 as like the villain for that season, and it's really pointless, but whatever. I like this season a lot. It was honestly, for the longest time, in first place when I was re-ranking the seasons as I was watching them, and it's very deserving, so. But anyway, fourth place, we have season 3 of Dragons Rising. Everyone hates this season, so this is very controversial. Honestly, I think part 2 is where the season very much picks up a lot. I like part 1 for like the Jay stuff, the Eren story. Frack, I love him too. Honestly, having Frack on the team, finally fulfilling the ninja hating the Serpentine back in the original series to now there's an official Serpentine ninja was a cool concept to have in this season. Thunderfang is one of my favorite voiced villains in the entire show. He's voiced by Devin Mack, who is the same voice actor as Eren. And I like Thunderfang. And he's pretty cool. In the first episode of part 2, they kill Eagle. That makes me cry. Why'd they have to kill Eagle? I know it was hinted that he was probably going to be passing soon in season 2 because of the wasting sickness, but like they just kill him and it's really depressing. But yeah, part 2 is when we get a whole lot of the Jay stuff, trying to figure out like, oh, Jay's back now, but he's lost his memories and he's kind of a jerk because he like shattered his goodness, which I still wonder how they're going to handle that now with season 4, because like I think it's sort of hinted that he's gonna get his memories back, which I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I have seen the season, so yeah. The Great Zane robbery, like the 4th episode of the season, was a weird one because they used the Zane's death music like it's supposed to be impactful, and it's stupid why they used it. There's a video from a YouTuber called Parachuting Kittens that talks about this scene specifically and the usage of this theme and why it's weird. I recommend watching it. I also recommend watching her other video on this season, which is about just the weird cut between like when we last see Roz in Casket of Bones, and then at this start of episode 16, he's just killed a guy. I'm not kidding. That literally just season 15, episode 15. There's no mention of Roz other than like maybe Eren mentioning Roz's name. He's not seen. In episode 16, it just starts. He's killed a man. Don't know why. But I like Eren's story in this. He feels betrayed by the ninja because of their master. And his story in this season is basically fighting with his morals. He wants to be a good guy, but Roz's teachings are taking him down a dark path. I'm excited to see where the show goes from this season. The Forbidden Five suck. I'll say that. The Forbidden Five were terrible. Other than that, this is a pretty decent season. I understand why people hate it, though. Why'd they take Pixel out of part 2? Number 3. My favorite season of the original series, the original 10 seasons, is season 9 in bronze placing, Hunted. Weird, because season 8 is my least favorite season of the entire show. Season 9 is just done way better. I like how it tells 2 stories in one season with the Resistance and then the Hunters part. Actually, killing off characters in this was pretty insane. Killing Harumi and Mistake in the same episode, even though Harumi does come back and crystallized, was honestly a bold choice to do. I think Iron Baron dies. Don't know. He kind of just gets covered in lava. I think he dies. If he didn't, he should be dead. But yeah, all the dragon stuff was cool. The Wu story of him growing up from the de-aging that happened to him in between Hands of Time and season 8, like the ending of that and his appearance in season 8. It was a Wu focused season, which has never happened before, and it only was able to happen because of his character being so young in the majority of this season. The hunters, honestly, they're pretty okay. The Garmadon stuff was sort of like the Garmadon villains were better this season. They also killed off Mr. E in like the third episode of the season, which was a pretty crazy ending to him. Like, we just watch him just get disassembled right in front of everyone's eyes. Jay going crazy in like the first two episodes was insane. Having a callback to Ultra Dragon, finding out he's dead, is very crazy. If you don't know, at like the beginning of episode 2 of the season, like we see Iron Baron on a throne, which is the skulls of a 4-headed dragon. He killed Ultra Dragon. That's insane. Poor Ultra Dragon. He disappeared after season 2 and you died. Rest in peace, Ultra Dragon. Honestly, I think this was the best part of the Oni trilogy. I love it. I think, despite the fact that this not having the Weekend Whip as their theme song, I like what they did with the song for the theme song. And also, like I said, I just love the two stories being like sort of told throughout the whole season. And then the final episode of the season where everything combines together again was really good. And yeah, there's just 2 seasons that are better than it, but this is my favorite of the original 10 seasons of Ninjago. Coming in second place, Silver Place, and my favorite season of Dragons Rising is Dragons Rising Season 2. So far, this has been the only Dragons Rising season in which I actually thoroughly enjoy both parts. I think they did the tournament arc so much better in season 2 of Dragons Rising for part 2. Bringing in Jay here for the tournament, revealing that he's under Roz's teachings, and then him getting Shatter Spin was an insane episode. And I really wonder how they're going to put that into his character in season 4. We sort of see a little bit of it in season 3 with him being sort of a jerk. But I am excited to see where his character is going to go now, having his goodness shattered. I like the tournament suits. They're pretty cool. Obviously, this season was much more of a focus on Sora and Eren. Wildfire getting a boyfriend was not something I would have expected, but honestly, good for her. You deserve Roby. He is perfect for her. The tournament, like I said, was done so much better. And grown-up Ryu, I love him. I miss the cute Ryu, but I like grown-up Ryu because he's just really cool. Having a full-on dragon as a ninja was awesome. And then I love Egalt and Ron too, when they were introduced in the first part. Egalt being one of my favorite dragons that has shown up on the show, it really sucks that they killed him in season 3. I liked him. And this season was like the start of his character. Rest in peace, Eagle. I miss you so much. And then, of course, like the big villains set up for this season were the Forbidden Five, with Roz being the main villain. We get to see a whole bunch of new elemental powers, such as Quake, Balance, Surface Tension, whatever the heck Zeatrix had. Brack is introduced in the second part, and I'm glad he became a ninja because I like him. This season was just amazing. A really great entry in Dragon's Rising in this new era of Ninjago, and I can't wait to see how season 4 is gonna hopefully triumph over season 3. Season 2 is right now my favorite Dragon's Rising season. And of course, that means in first place, something I was not actually expecting to get first place when I was watching this, goes to season 13, Master of the Mountain. Of all the seasons where people were wishing for a Cole story, this came at just the perfect time. I think the season aired its final episode days before the announcement of Kirby Morrow's passing. So while this season wasn't dedicated to him, it felt like this season was a dedication to the voice actor of Kirby and his portrayal as Cole. Cole getting his own focus season. Cole's my favorite ninja, so obviously this gets like 1,000 points. But I love his story throughout this season, his love with Vanya, trying to figure himself out. That scene in, like, I think it's episode 9 of the season, when they're like going through a dungeon crawl, like at the start of the episode, it shows his sick mother and him promising to stand up to bullies for his sick mom. Like, that was a heartbreaking scene to watch, knowing that his mom dies. It was so sad. The black skeletons were weird villains. They're just skeletons, black. I think I don't know why the sets started also portraying the monks and the geckos as villains. They're not, like, at all. They fight with each other, but they're not villains, like, at all. Wu also has a pretty decent story here, with him feeling like the weakest member now that the ninja have kind of sort of grown up and moved past his teachings. But he does realize there's still stuff he can teach them. And I will say this, and I'll say this once. I don't hate Lloyd, but I'm so glad he gets really shafted in this season. Like, he's just there. Him getting so much focus in the show, I've never liked. I don't hate him. I just wish they'd stop focusing on him so much. And so him just being there for this season made it a lot better too. Also, I think this is one of the better versions of the Weekend Whip. The Shintaro Whip was an awesome version of it. This whole season is just perfect, in my opinion. And I honestly, it as like a sort of tribute to Kirby Morrow, I think it works perfectly. The suits were okay. Not my favorite Cole figure, but I think he did end up getting like a golden version of that for his 10th anniversary figure. But I just love this season. It's so good. And I like how it returns in the final season of the show, with Vanya coming back. And also, like, the entirety of the 11-minute era being, like, connected with, like, Harumi being the villain in the shadows throughout it all was a pretty decent concept. Season 13 is just beautiful. Just for when it came out. It's unfortunate that Kirby Morrow passed, and honestly, it was so sad whenever that happened. But this season came out in 2020, during the bad year. No, it was 2021 in the 10th anniversary of Ninjago, and unfortunately, Kirby Morrow passed away. But this season does feel like such a decent tribute to him and his character Cole. I just love it. I think it's the best season of the entire show by far. Also, this poster's pretty cool. But that's the only thing I can say that I hate about this season is the sets, because they turned them into a board game and they were very not show accurate. That being the only thing I can say I hate about this season says a lot about this season and that it's perfect. But that's it for the ranking. Season 8 is the worst and season 13 is the best. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited to finally get this video done. Yeah. I'm excited to finally get this video done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Also, yes, this video is coming out on April 2nd, the official date that the episodes are coming out on Netflix. So go watch them. I've seen them. They're pretty good. Go watch them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.